How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Friday night. And you know what that means. We standing, and that means it is on the ring apron. Welcome. Well, it ain't the Uso Penitentiary, but it's as close as we gonna get. Everybody, welcome to Friday night. This is Steve of On the Ring Apron. My partner will be joining us here in just a minute. My partner in crime who just got off a wonderful, fantastic Zoom session where she got to chat up the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. So I'm sure she's got plenty to talk about. I was in the Thunderdome. I don't know if any of you guys saw me, but I was right there on the little rampway. I was there for about an hour, so I had plenty of time, plenty of fun out there. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We know what everybody's here to talk about, and that is this week's WWE as we head into Clash of Champions. My partner has now arrived. She is, I'm sure, very, very smitten right now. Smitten. Come on, say it. Quite smitten. Smitten. There we go. The enthusiasm is just insane with this one. But, yeah, she just got done talking to Drew McIntyre through Mania Club's special Zoom session. We ended up giving a very nice donation to the V-Foundation as part of it. They raised so much money through two different ones they had this week. We talked to Roman Reigns earlier this week and had an opportunity to, of course, talk to Drew McIntyre tonight, the two champions heading into Clash of Champions. We've discussed it all month. We still got about a week left. V-Foundation, Connor's Cure, Give Kids the World, Mania Club. I mean, the amount of money and the amount of support that this has been getting is just absolutely tremendous. It's been an amazing experience to be a part of it. I'm loving every second of it.
I think Gary, if I heard him correctly, said we've raised $13,000 or a little bit more.
In a pandemic year? That is an insane number.
I think he said we've done better this go around than any other time, but obviously, you know, with all the Zooms, the virtual Zooms and getting to see people, and again, you know, these Zooms are very personal to not just the fans, not just Mania Club, but it's personal to the wrestlers too, and they enjoy getting to talk to us, and you know, and the fact is they're doing it for a good cause.
Absolutely.
You know, if you're not part of Mania Club, you should be. Even if you don't, you know, even if you donate just a little bit is better than nothing. If you need the information, we will give it to you. We will tell you who to get in contact with. Also, donate for Kids Give the World. That's great. We got to talk to a lot of the families.
Meeting some of these kids that are going through all this stuff is just like so amazing.
It is, and getting to actually not just meet them, but get to hear their stories and get to know who they are and get to know that they're just as much of a wrestling fan and they follow just like we are and they're collectors. Like, it's been amazing just to see the different collections these kids have, as well as just like everybody that we come across into contact with. So it's good to know that we're a part of a community that is willing to donate for a good cause, that, you know, loves what they do, and they do it. Don't look at it as just money, giving money. DeMario says, look at this as giving your time, your energy, and your efforts. So that's what's been quoted throughout the whole entire time since we've joined, and it came directly from DeMario.
You know, and that's a perfect mantra to live by, not just this month and any month, because it's not like pediatric cancer is going to go away, you know, just because the month of September is going to come to an end here next week. You know, the fight is going to continue on. These kids are going to continue to have the battle of their lives, you know, so just because, you know, it's not getting the headlines, you know, starting into next month. We know Susan G. Komen and breast cancer awareness takes over in October. You'll hear plenty of Pink and plenty of us talking about that. But definitely make sure you go look at what they do. But, you know, folks are here to talk about wrestling. Let's talk about that this week because we got Clash of Champions coming up. And I don't know about you, sporting the Uso shirt. And I don't know about you, but this could look pretty good on Little Oos, you know, at the end of all of this. This could look pretty good.
You mean Little Cassius? Because that's what
Little Cash, you can see it.
Little Cassius, who we call Little Oos around the house.
He's the one that'll sport this hat. We got a picture of him at the Taco Bell, you know, wearing this hat, and he loved it.
That, and then we have a picture of him where he was in the car with me, and he was sporting it, and, you know, people could look in my car, and they were doing this. Like, they knew what it stood for.
But suffice to say, we know who he's going to pick, but who are we going to pick? Well, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow for Top Rope Spoilers. It is going to be live. For those of you, most of our folks come from the Eastern time zone, but we got some fans out in Britain. Sorry, we're going to have to keep you up late a little bit if you want to find out. We're going live at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Ooh.
5 p.m. I know normally our shows are at 7, but sorry, boys, college football going to take over on Saturday night.
Georgia-Bama.
Georgia-Bama going to take their time. So we're going to be out here 5 p.m. Eastern, so join us tomorrow. We're going to see our picks for all 9 matches that are currently scheduled for Top Rope Spoilers. Because of the fact we know, obviously, the big matches going into it, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship, Orton and McIntyre in an ambulance match You've got Bayley and Nikki Cross.
Oh, these are going to be some. These are going to. I can't wait. Oh my goodness.
The entire card is stacked.
But here's the thing: the writing for these stories have been, shall I say, phenomenal. These
product placement.
But like you're up, down, and you're so emotional. It's not just SmackDown. It's not just Raw. It's also NXT, and the fact that you have such good writers at the present moment, just giving it their all. I'm emotional. I get emotional like so.
Well, Clash of Champions, because of the fact that I am the avid belt collector. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year because you get a chance to see all the gold, all the title matches. You're almost 100% guaranteed you're going to see at least one title change, which means plate exchange. But how many will we have, and how long is that episode going to be? That's going to be what we're going to have to figure out. But as we do on our normal pay-per-view weekends, of course we stand, we get hyped up, because we're entering into a pay-per-view weekend. First of all, it means I ain't got to work for 2 more days, but that also means we got some fun that's coming up. But we do go ahead and discuss the other shows that have been coming up because you're going to hear plenty about Raw, SmackDown, and what we've got coming up on Clash of Champions. So we're going to open with NXT. And what we saw this week, I did have to umpire a ball game through the first half, so Kia caught most of it, so she's going to lead the way tonight.
I'm going to do my best. I was taking care of the kid, the little one at the time, so as you know, for me, women empowerment, I think if I remember correctly, they started the show off with that match. So it was pretty much I call it the Lumberjills match, where everybody, we had some people no, we didn't have people around the ring. My bad, wrong match. It was everybody get in the ring, start fighting, and you get eliminated. I just for female empowerment, I was all about this match, and you knew I was picking either. My picks were Shotzi, Dakota, and then there were just a couple others, but I didn't.
I was the one who said there'd be a swerve and they'd bring Toni Storm over to NXT. That didn't pan out, but I was hopeful.
Yeah. So you got to see it, and a lot of the eliminations came from Raquel. I think Raquel eliminated, if I have it correctly, 6 or 7 people, and Rhea did good eliminations too. I think she had quite a few. But there
have been plenty of people on Twitter that did say if we don't see Raquel and Rhea at TakeOver, something's wrong with this.
The thing with that is, even through all of the ruckus and the craziness and the hecticness, they still had time to face up, square up, and they were pretty much the 2 big brutes. We call guys behemoths, but these women, for them to be wrestlers, they're tough and they're big and they're strong, and so I want to see that match. If that match does not happen, I'm not going to say I'm going to riot, but I'm going to be very unhappy. But when you get down to it, Candice has been the one that, she feels like she's been, behind everybody. She's been the mother figure. She's been the one who's been taking care of everybody, supporting everybody. Again, we saw, a few months back, she was sitting here talking to her husband because she did a little heel turn on us, and we weren't expecting it, but...
We talked about how she wasn't going to let, she was going to eat first and was not going to eat second anymore. There's been a lot of conversations about dinner tables as of late in wrestling. I don't know where that came in.
And the thing with that is she's making good on it because out of everybody that we saw, she's making her way to that title against Io. So she was the last one eliminated. Or no, she wasn't eliminated. She was the one to be last standing, and she eliminated, if I remember correctly, Shotzi. I was so emotional because
that's going to hurt a lot of our fan base, including Shotzi herself. Sorry, honey.
But the fact is, these women gave it their all, and I'm saying they're outside the ring for this, so it's like, oh my God, who's going to get it? And they were this close, and then Candice just came out victorious for her being the poison pixie.
Now, I didn't get a chance to actually see the match from start to finish in full, but one thing I do want to state, because I got a chance to see it through a GIF on Twitter, apparently Casey Catanzaro having 2 respectable, very clear-cut saves outside the ring.
She pulled that American Ninja Warrior spirit straight from the girl. When I say, I know you're not my bestie, but she did the damn thing. I'm not going to even lie.
The one I saw was where she was apparently fell on her butt, but her feet never touched it. She kind of spun herself back around and flipped back.
She reminded me of when Kofi Kingston did it for the 2 times. I think he did it, his PPVs, and then
of course our girl
Naomi. But
best recoveries, by the way, sweetheart. Getting serious for a moment. She had surgery this week. Anybody who didn't know about that, go wish Naomi best recovery. You're never going to find a sweeter person on this planet.
Okay.
Anyway, continue.
Man, I was looking at her she's got that American Ninja Warrior. I was so proud of her. And then the fact is, her best friend had already gotten eliminated. She's like, I'm not gonna let this happen. Kaden, did I say it correctly?
Mm-hmm.
she saw her like trying to get back into the ring, and she picked her up on her shoulders and she walked her to the ring. That was so dope.
To get her back in there. I can tell you, I mean, no disqualifications, no countouts. Get it however you've done. I mean, Asuka won a battle royal a couple of months ago because she actually stood on 2 people.
But the conflicting thing is, after Raquel got eliminated, switching gears, after Raquel got eliminated, you could see Dakota kind of was shocked. She didn't know what to think. She's like, oh, there goes my insurance policy for me winning the whole thing. But Dakota, she's tough. This whole heel turn for her, I'm loving it. I'm loving the look and the way she's channeling it. And she was one of the last 4, Shotzi, her, Candice, and Kat and Zero.
Well, we were ones that said very clearly that, we were not really very happy with the way Dakota's run as a heel started.
Yes.
But it really has come around full circle, and she's been able to do it not necessarily just because of Raquel being there as well. Raquel has been able to do her own thing and build her own self up without necessarily needing Dakota, and that's not just in storyline. I mean, both of them have been able to build up their own brands without the need of necessarily having to have the other.
But I loved that even after, like you said, Dakota and Raquel have been doing their own things individually, but they come together and they work well together. And if you hang out with someone, in my opinion, you hang out with someone for a long time, you start looking like sisters. So, but for me, Dakota is just she's I can see why she's called king and captain. She's a fighter. She's strong. I want to see her with the title at some point. I think she needs it, in my opinion.
But ultimately, it's Candice's turn right now.
Yes,
it means we got Candice and Io coming up at TakeOver. We will have a top rope spoilers predictions for that as well a little bit later. But that wasn't all that happened on NXT this week. We also, of course, had the Gauntlet Eliminator match, a first of its kind, with 5 good competitors, and a bit of a shocker as it's the Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly coming out with the win. So we're going to end up with what most people are considering the technical, dream match of all dream matches of anyone who watched the Independence. You're going to end up with Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor for the NXT title.
I'm excited. You know me. I love, out of everybody in Undisputed, that has always been my baby. The whole rock guitar, air guitar thing. As much as I love Finn, I'm wishing him the best. I'm wishing Kyle O'Reilly the best for this match.
Well, we talked about it on our show about how they've kind of given Kyle his own little run, his own little push, and it's for a reason. And, me and you spoke privately, that's now about to become public, that what if Kyle pulls the upset? What if he finds a way, maybe with a little underhanded work from maybe the Undisputed Era behind the scenes or whatever, but either way, no matter how you slice it, Kyle O'Reilly wins the title, and then you can maybe start turning that old Evolution story you saw where, Adam Cole kind of and kicks him out because he's not going to give up that title back to Cole, but then you all of a sudden give a great face push to Kyle O'Reilly.
Well,
I'm just saying, it can be done.
After everything with Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis and what we saw, previously leading up to this, and him having to be the therapist, it's like he went from being the therapist just to instead of just being the heel, he's kind of slowly going face. And you saw what he did in the
parking lot. The entire group is going face, so I don't think that's necessarily the direction they're going to go. But I like that they're giving him the shot.
But it looks like they're all separating, or they're like in groups of 2 or 1 or whatever, but the fact is, I like the fact that he's trying to do his own thing. I'm excited for the match. I'm not going to tell you who my pick is going to be, so you'll have to wait on that till next week, but I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens.
And then all indications is it also looks like, the Garganos are going to get a chance to also have both titles, because it looks like Gargano is going to be the #1 contender for Damian Priest's North American Championship. The Garganos both going to get shots at titles on the same night.
So since you brought that up, I know that what is his name? Austin Theory has come back, and he was doing an interview with, I think her name is Sarah or something, and Gargano just kind of, passively just walks by and say, you know what, do me a favor. Soften up Damian Priest for me so I can go ahead and take his title. And Theory wasn't really too thrilled about that, and I think that he let that get in his head a little bit, because,
from what I read, he got smoked by Priest.
He held his own for a little bit, but Priest, looking good in that white.
Calm down.
I'm sorry.
She's still got Drew on the brain is what she's got.
But the thing is,
how many others out there do? Be honest with yourselves.
But the fact that I think he let that comment kind of get him a little ahead of himself, it took a toll, and Damian Priest did what he do best, and he got him. So he's not going to let that title go.
So the fact is, considering that he only gave TakeOver 2 weeks to get itself ready, you've already got yourself 3 fantastic title matches. typically every takeover has 6. You usually
Yes.
have 5 matches, and then you have a kickoff match at the same time. So it'll be interesting to see, with a week to go, what other matches are going to throw in. I could easily see Raquel and Rhea getting a match, which I think would be phenomenal. Maybe Breezango gets a tag team match. Maybe you give Santos Escobar a chance to put his cruiserweight title back on the line.
I can see a couple people running interferences during some of these matches.
Another one I maybe could see would be Drake, and finally getting this rivalry match over to kind of end the storyline that he's been in. So, there's a number of different ways, and H and Michaels are going to find a way to pull it all together. They'll figure it out.
They always do. And going back to the whole Kyle O'Reilly, let me kind of backtrack. Did y'all not pay attention to who came out and showed up and made himself known without having to speak? He did. Not a word had to be said.
Doesn't have to say anything. He's got the gold.
The
gold says all the talking it needs to do, and it's very similar to what you're seeing with your other champions. You see Drew and Roman really going out there, but they don't need to say anything.
No, they don't.
You've got 3 dominant champions, and I'm just saying, hear me out for just a second. Survivor Series is 2 months away, and it's champion versus champion versus champion. You give me Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, and Finn Balor, triple threat winner, or one person wins that match. I mean, that's the dream match of all dream matches.
That's definitely my dream
and
match.
Right now, it could very well happen. So let's see how this turns out. But the other show, of course, that doesn't have a pay-per-view coming up this weekend is NXT UK, and its second week back.
Which we've gotten into.
I said it last week. If you haven't gotten into UK, it's a 1-hour show. Not even that. It's like 55 minutes, commercial-free. You get great matches. They've got some great talent over there.
Well, for me,
take the time to watch it. Really.
Here's the thing that pulled me in. Already knowing some of the roster, Noam Dar, Wolf, Adam Wolf, I think is his name. No, it's my bad. I'm sorry. Walter, getting to know him. So knowing, and then there's Pete Dunne who just came back.
The conversation of why it's Walter and not Walter. The pronunciation with the V on the end, and the conversation of, well, that's how you properly pronounce it in his native tongue. So, these are conversations, and I've got, friends on our Instagram, that are on here, followers of us who are watching us from the UK, from Ireland, from Scotland, from Britain, Germany, So this is more, their style of wrestling, and it's new to us, because, with the exception of seeing, getting an opportunity to see Pete Dunne for a little while, Toni Storm, Rhea Ripley, the British strong style is something that we really haven't gotten too much experience with.
But we do know from seeing, NXT and SmackDown and Raw, and then there's the Mae Young Classic. You can't forget the Mae Young Classic. Seeing that and seeing these women, let's just even head over there. My girl Piper, and then Kaylee.
Because that was your main event.
She is one bad miss. When I say, she reminds me of Sasha, because when Sasha gets hurt, she still goes forward and she still fights. Kaylee Ray and Piper, I was pulling for Piper. It was what it was.
Well, that's the friendship that's turned bitter, over the championship, and you see how Roman and Jay are dealing with right now. When you put gold in the middle of them, and it'll test those binds, and these are the friendship that it's not making it.
But when Kaylee Ray got hurt, they said, okay, we can end it. We can have it at another time. Homegirl said she wasn't having it. She wasn't having it.
And that's coming from a heel perspective as well. Most heels will take the opportunity to get themselves out of a title match, under any circumstance, if it means they get to keep their title. But Kaylee Ray's like, no, not against you. We're ending this tonight.
She's a fighter. She is. I was just so impressed by it. What got me is the slapping the soul straight out of her best friend. Like, nope, it ain't happening. We're going to get back in that ring. We're going to do it. And you could see her hobbling around, but even with the hobbling and the falling and all the pain, she just pushed through. She had that determination and that grit that kept that title. I'm impressed.
And and there's a stacked women's division over there. You all of a sudden you saw a competitor like Jenny who was watching on the outside. You've still got people like Killer Kelly. You still have Xia Brookside, who are very good female competitors. So it's not just Kaylee Ray and that's it, And then of course you can't forget people like Toni Storm. You can't forget people potentially like Rhea Ripley who might show back up over there. There's conversation about Paige if she's ever cleared, potentially going over there.
I know Drew spoke of wanting to go and have a match with Walter when we did the Zoom.
Woo! Dream match there.
I'm not going to give you any more on that Zoom session, but that's what he spoke of. He wants to go over there and he wants to mix it up with everybody.
Right, well, that's potentially maybe like a Worlds Collide type of match where, all of a sudden Walter comes over and, have him take on a person like a Drew McIntyre or somebody. And Walter also had his own match this week as well. He took on Saxon Huxley, who was no slouch himself. I mean, he's just, in this match, he was outgunned.
But again,
the ring general doing his business.
Exactly. So, I mean,
Speaking of slapping the soul out of people, that slap, you can hear that thing nationwide.
Around the world.
You just listen for the echo after it hits.
Yes.
Saxon held his own. It wasn't like he was, a terrible competitor. Walter just, that much stronger, that much better, and just extremely technical in his abilities, that it's going to take a very good person to be the one who's going to dethrone him, and that may not happen for a while because his next opponent is going to be Ilya Dragovich. But I don't know if that's going to be enough because, Ilya is known mainly for his speed and for his high-flying abilities. I'm not sure that can match up well with a person who is going to be able to, who's very good at being able to ground people.
But my thing is, you'll be surprised. You're pulling for the person in this match to be the underdog. You'll be surprised what the underdog can do when he actually has the time to, or she. Don't think about it. Just go in there and do it. And you'd be surprised. It might take that title right off Walter.
And the other thing that was announced, and this is going to be really where our stories are going to be for the next several weeks, is the introduction of the NXT UK Heritage Cup, which was officially announced by the returning Pete Dunne, who, my Lord, has he gotten himself in shape. He has spent, you hear that? I heard it too. Haley just squealed somewhere.
Yeah, she sure did.
She loves her some Pete Dunne. Cried when he lost his title. Cried and cried. We couldn't console her enough.
No.
But he went on his Instagram earlier this week and showed how he's gotten in the best shape of his life, and I argue he has. He's lost that gut.
And what I hope
because some people were worried that he was sick, because he had lost so much weight. Like, no, I'm just in damn good shape.
He looks very good. I give him that. The only thing I really hated about the whole kind of weight loss, he was the person that had better thighs than me, and so I hope he hasn't lost that too much. So.
But the unique perspective of this Heritage Cup, and I had a chance to kind of review over the rules of what it's going to be, is 6 3-minute rounds of wrestling matches where essentially you're going to have to get 2 pinfalls or 2 submissions. If a match ends in a disqualification or in a knockout, the match ends completely, but it's whoever can get 2 out of 3 falls within those 6 3-minute rounds. So these matches, if you run the distance, are going to run about 20 or 25 minutes. But the idea is that you're going to end up having 8 people, and it's not going to be, okay, I was able to win on a cheap roll-up, or, I got lucky. You're going to have to beat someone at least twice in order to be able to knock them out of this tournament with, of course, not just the Heritage Cup on the title, the Heritage Cup Championship on the line, but also winner is #1 contender for the UK title as well.
Well, see, the thing is, and Pete Dunne even made it known that this is one of the biggest things to go for this style of wrestling, and what kind of, set the tone for that is he came back to be the person. He even said in a backstage segment that he would be willing to ref one of the matches because I think it was Noam Dar who showed very much disrespect to Alexander Wolf.
That's right.
And, Alexander Wolf, being the gentleman he looks like he is, tried shaking his hand, tried doing it, and Noam Dar
Dunne being of British background and everything else is not going to allow anyone to make a mockery of this tournament because it has existed not just in NXT, it's existed across other brands, across other independent circuits. This is a big deal to him, so he's not going to allow Dar or anyone to make a mockery of it, and he quickly eliminated Dar out of that ring and says, I'll get in the way of this match if that's ultimately what it takes to make sure that no one's going to make a mockery of this tournament. But the unique rules of this is going to make it a ton of fun to watch. We're going to get an opportunity to be able to see some good competitors, some of them for the very first time. You've got people like Flash Morgan Webster, who I've heard of but have never seen before. We're going to get a chance to see what he can do. They also, of course, premiered a couple of tag teams. You've got the Primate and Wild Boar on one side, and then Pretty Deadly on the other side. 2 very Fabio-esque looking guys.
Those 2 remind me of Breezango.
Breezango back when they still had the flowing locks. So picture Breezango with the longer hair back when they first started. But there is a ton of talent there and a ton to pull from. So again, we're not necessarily telling you what you should do with your time, but I mean, we're talking less than an hour.
Yeah.
At less than an hour of your time for what is fantastic wrestling. The accents sure don't hurt either.
No, I mean,
so it's a lot of fun stuff to watch.
But I mean, even if you only know one or two people, those one or two people should pull you in to want to go watch it. It's great.
And then you'll have other people that will get you in there as well. Because I'll even admit, we both went into this. I'm like, because we had been asked about it, were we going to watch it? And we said, okay, today's the day it's re-premiering. There's never going to be a better day to do it right now because every storyline is reset. Every, person is back fresh. Anyone who was injured is now recovered. Anyone who had COVID now doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
They've got everything figured out. There's going to be no better time to watch it. And, I mean, you're literally starting only 2 episodes behind. If you haven't watched it yet, 2 hours of your time, it's worth it, we promise you.
It's very good I love the accents. That's why I got pulled into it. And then knowing some of the people. So, yeah, for me, I'm excited about that's just another layer to what we can talk about at this present moment.
Exactly. I mean, we'll fit time in for whatever you guys want to hear about, I mean, if you guys want to talk about, 205 Live, if you want to talk about main events, we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about.
What about another Evolution? We'll talk about that.
Can you imagine the amount of folks we're going to have talking to us if Evolution officially gets announced at any point? Because hey, women empowerment, that's your pay-per-view right there. I might be standing over here just watching.
Oh, yeah.
But, with it being a pay-per-view weekend, we are going to go ahead and bring things to a halt here because you're going to have a lot of material from us. First of all, the nice Kween here, premiering not 1, but 2 episodes this week. What? She's going to be discussing...
Oh, I did.
Have you forgotten the topic we're going to talk about already?
I'm going to be discussing, my top 10 champions for Raw and SmackDown. So, pretty much both brands, as well as the 5 champions of NXT. It's opinionated. It's mine. It's what I think. It's, from just the meet and greets and getting to know them and their background and everything else.
You're ranking the 10 champions that are going into Clash of Champions this weekend. And then, so that'll be a 2-part episode, one that's going to premiere tomorrow, later part of the morning, maybe around noonish, just before Top Rope Spoilers. And then we're going to have another one that's going to premiere on Sunday before we hit the pay-per-view. That'll be the back half. And then at some point next week, I think we said Thursday, we're going to have you talk about your NXT champions as we head into TakeOver.
I've got plenty of more coming. I want some suggestions. I need some suggestions. I want to hear from you all. If you want to see me do something or you want something done that's within reason, please let me know.
Well, so far, countdowns and the 2-parter was very popular.
Well, Superstar Highlight's been pretty good, too.
It was, and we've received so many suggestions as to who you guys want to see because you enjoyed her segment with Nikki Cross. We actually already know who the next Superstar Highlight is going to be, but I promise you we're not going to stop at 2.
Well, I know.
Who else do you want to see? Who else do you want to see us talk about?
I've got a couple already in mind. I'm not going to tell you who they are. I'm just going to let you be surprised by them. But also, again, Plate Exchange. When are you going to do that? When are you going to show
Clash of Champions this weekend, at least one title's changing hands.
I'm not talking about just that. I get that. When are you going to do my belt? Show everybody how you do my belt. No, the Glow belt.
When the Glow comes back as champion?
Okay, well, I'll be waiting a long time then, so y'all will kind of take a look.
Once again, if you haven't wished Naomi a speedy recovery, please do so. But we're going to go and wrap things up for tonight because you're going to be seeing us plenty more this weekend. 2 questions with the Queen, one Saturday, one Sunday, and 5 p.m. Eastern. So that's 10 British, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock California, and the rest of you fit in somewhere in between. I'm not good at math. Not anymore. Where's my brother? He's good at this stuff.
Yeah.
But 5 o'clock Eastern time, Top Rope Spoilers, live for you guys to see. We're going to run down Clash of Champions, so that way we can give you guys our thoughts and our official predictions. A lot of fun stuff coming up. Can Jey Uso pull the upset of all upsets and win the Universal Championship? And who's going to get chucked in the ambulance and who is not to walk out WWE Champion? Hey, we got a chance to see both this week. Drew, Roman, thank you guys so much for your time, your efforts, and being willing to provide your time, your effort,
and your energy.
There you go. Excuse me. Towards such a good cause. Mania Club. Oh Lord, I'm choking up. Being able to get so many donations through all of this, it was a huge deal. We can't thank Mania Club, Gary, Demario. Anthony, you guys put in a ton of work towards this. Thank you guys so much. Mania Club, go look at it. I know we hype them up. We talk about them all the time. But I promise you, it's worth the time. And the best part, it doesn't cost you 1 penny to be a part of it. It really doesn't, with so much great material. We're just the tip of the iceberg on this. You know, we bring you guys the material, but the reality is you will have so much fun, and it becomes even more fun when you finally get back into these live events again.
Exactly.
So, with that being said, let's go ahead and bring this to a halt. I am Steve.
I'm Kia.
And this has been On the Ring Apron. You guys have yourself a great night. Kia, take us home.
All right, y'all have a good night. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eat like I always do because I'm a foodie. I have to have my food. So anyway, with that being said, love you, and we'll talk to you all later. Bye. Oh, enjoy Clash of Champions. Yeah. Bye, everybody.